So according to the statistics of the United Nations, uh, we have now hundreds of millions of people who are forced out of their home or native countries. Uh, this is a record now. We are speaking 2024. And so the phenomenon of immigration and, the phenomenon of totalitarian regimes, political oppression, exploitation. I mean, if you go back to the history of the world, I mean, from the time of Cain and Abel, in the Bible, and Cain killed his brother Abel. So we have been in a perpetual fratricidal default position where the dominant paradigm, which is violence-centered, war-centered, winner-take-all centered, greed-centered, brought havoc on the human race, and as such, hence the title of the book, Liberation, a quest for a new humanism. Basically, liberation from the toxic paradigm, the dominant paradigm of greed, of violence, of warfare, of selfishness, etc., racism, militarism, etc., etc. So, but this is the story of my life, actually, because since I was very young, at the age of 5, I remember my mother was always telling me, because my dad traveled a lot for his business, he was working in the government back in Sudan, and so she always told me, you are our father because your father is not here. Now you are our father. And she speaks about herself, my younger sister, and myself. And I think she planted the seed of responsibility at that age, and I just felt that, like I'm a father, I'm behaving, thinking, acting like, somebody who has responsibility, So this is the story of my life, and it's a story, as I say in the book, of says here, a story of an African story. Actually, it's an African American story of revolution, exile, and hope. Because when we say African American, we think of America more than Africa. But this is more focused on my journey from Africa to America. And it's a story of revolution because in my 20s I participated in a peaceful revolution that dislodged the first military dictatorship in the Sudan in '64. But then, I was put in jail because of my ideas, and so I decided to go in exile because I was not going to compromise my ideas, and hence the hope that I have in actually crossing from Sudan to Europe and then to America. And it is also the other side of the title of the book is A Seeker's Quest for Freedom, Justice, Peace, and Truth. So that's the story of my life from when I was only 5 years old until now, when I became, I studied, of course, law in Sudan, and then I became a diplomat, and then I worked in UNESCO in Paris, and then I worked in a journalist in Paris, and then I worked in the World Bank in Washington, D.C. But I never found myself in any of these places, and I was always in a quest to answer the question, why am I here? And what is it unique about me and about what added value I can bring to the human story, which for me it's inclusive of everybody, intercultural, interfaith, interethnic, because that's the vision statement of my nonprofit, which I established in 1985 in Paris, France, and then reincorporated in America in 2002 when I came to settle in the United States and become a citizen of the United States. And I just found my calling actually through this vision. And then of course I incorporated the International Peace Quest Institute, which is taking the same vision and the same mission and the same passion for helping the world become more, get to changing the paradigm and replacing the toxic paradigm that has brought a lot of suffering to us, and preserving all the good things that we have accomplished as a human species in terms of the civilization that we have. However, the audacity comes in the fact that my ambition for us and for the upcoming generations is that they shouldn't really go through the suffering that we went through in terms of all these wars, the millions of lives lost, and all this, the slavery issue, bringing Africans from Africa to America for profit, also fast forward of the fact that now we have a system where an unjust system rigged in favor of the 1% and keeping the 99% hostage to a form of, put strongly, a form of modern day slavery where the haves are actually taking advantage of the have-nots to just make more money and to have more things, and I think ours should be more focused on also spirituality and morality and truth, and so the challenges we have is we need to rewrite the narrative. We need to, because the dominant narrative is omits a lot of things, and that's not good for the consciousness of the human species. So it is high time that we actually work very hard to dialogue. That's why we are about dialogue of cultures, civilizations, and religions, to arrive at a consensus, a global consensus with regard to the quest that we are in, to write a new narrative, incorporating everybody's and every civilization's and every religion's contribution and added value that it had brought, and stop, denigrating this or that or the other on the basis of race, religion, culture, language, geography, etc. Because, when I worked in UNESCO, there was a very important project that I was involved in. It's called General History of Africa, a huge research project that was basically to rewrite the history of the African continent, and it included most of the scholars were international scholars who were interested and passionately so in the African story, but also some of the African intellectuals and researchers and academics and scholars. And it's a huge series of books that came out from UNESCO. You can go back and look at it through Google. It's called The General History of Africa. And three important things that I took from that is that Africa is the cradle of humanity. It's the cradle, because it's the cradle of humanity, it's also the cradle of spirituality, because man was always in search of meaning and therefore of spirit. And then the third leg of the stool is it's the cradle of civilization, because when you have humans and who are sophisticated enough to think about the afterlife and to be spiritual, and to build ancient civilizations around the Nile Valley, they of course start building a civilization. So we should keep all the good things that we have, but we should absolutely be serious about redressing the injustices and ridding the world from the suffering that is unnecessary. And that's where we advocate for a liberation for all of us from all the negative, unnecessary suffering that we are going through now. And now, fast forward it's summer of 2024. So, we have all these wars in Ukraine, Gaza, Palestine, Israel, Sudan, which is my country of origin, and so on and so forth. It's never ending. So we should reorder our priorities. We should have a new vision, peace-centered, justice-centered, and freedom-centered. That's what we need, and that's what the book is all about. And the book shows that if people arrive at a consensus and be united around a vision that makes sense to them and that they are inspired by, they can attain an awareness, a consciousness, and an awakening that makes them united as one, and a people united as one with a strong positive vision that is inclusive of everybody are unstoppable. This is the most revolutionary vision that you can have, and this is the antidote to all the naysayers, all the fascist tendencies, all the the reactionary forces. And it's a call for consciousness and for action. So if you believe in this, and we are negotiating, to make this the next big thing in TV and cinema, as we speak, we hope that you will be part of the movement. This is a movement at this 11th hour for actually saving humanity from a perilous, ominous, disastrous inclinations that are actually menacing the whole of humanity, and that this is the time for a new building, a new civilization of freedom, justice, and peace. So with that, it's available, the book Liberation, A Quest for a New Humanism by Hashim El-Tinay, and it is of course available on Amazon, on Ex Libris, on Barnes and Noble, everywhere, and then of course the supportive book for this is Nile Sunrise, which is available also on Amazon that you can get. And please get 10 copies if you can, and 100 if you can. We are not into it to make money. We are in it to save humanity. So please get your copy, support our work, buy as many copies as possible, share the information, and stay tuned for the next big thing in entertainment, which is my story, Hashim El-Tinay, peace nomad from the Nile Valley, from Africa, an Afro-Arab Nile Valley researcher and seeker who came and became an American citizen, and who was appointed by President Obama as honorary member of his kitchen cabinet, and who shared this vision with George Bush and Colin Powell and people in France, worked in the community in France, the Muslim community and the Christian community and the Jewish communities, always focus on peace, freedom, justice for all of us. And so with that, I hope you enjoy the read and join the movement. We are one, and we want to reach everybody, because we feel that through consciousness and through we can get to an awakening. And it is the awakening when humanity is awakened and well organized to build a new civilization. We can do that, and we are unstoppable, and that's the most and we are calling for a peaceful liberation revolution, and nothing to do with violence at all. Okay, so with that, I thank you for your patience. I thank you for your support and your interest, and let's go to work.